General Marcus Hale had seen countless battles in his 35 years of military service. He was feared in every corridor of Fort Branson. Recruits whispered his name like a warning, the Iron Wolf. Nobody crossed him, nobody questioned him, and certainly nobody survived his infamous temper without scars. But all that changed the day. A quiet, small-framed girl walked into the training bay, her bag slung over one shoulder, her expression calm, her movements controlled, almost too controlled. Her name was Ava Coleman, and she didn't look like she belonged in a room full of battle-hardened soldiers. From the moment Ava stepped in, the room buzzed with ridicule. Recruits nudged each other, laughing at her size. "She's like 5 feet," whispered Private Logan Pierce, barely containing his smirk. "General Hale's going to eat her alive." Ava didn't react. She simply placed her bag down, tied her hair into a tight ponytail, and began stretching like she'd done this routine 1,000 times. General Hale walked in seconds later, boots pounding like thunder. The chatter died instantly. "Listen up," his voice boomed. "Today is Combat Assessment Day. I don't care who you are, what you look like, or where you came from. In this room, only skill matters. If you fail, you're out." His eyes scanned the room, then narrowed on Ava. "And what do we have here?" he asked loudly. "A tourist." The room snickered. Ava stood still. "No, sir. Recruit Ava Coleman reporting for assessment." Her voice wasn't shaky, just calm. Too calm. Hale didn't like calm. "You think you could survive my training?" he asked, stepping closer. "Yes, sir." "And why is that?" His tone sharpened. "Because I didn't come here to survive," Ava replied softly. "I came here to prove something." The recruits exchanged looks. Hale grinned. A dangerous grin. "Step forward, Coleman." Ava obeyed. "Pair her with me," Hale ordered. "Let's see what the weak girl is made of." The room froze. Logan whispered, "She's done." General Hale removed his jacket, cracked his knuckles, and stepped into the sparring circle. Ava stood across from him, posture relaxed. Too relaxed. Hale mistook it for fear. He charged. Ava didn't flinch. Hale swung. A controlled but heavy strike to test her reflexes. His palm connected with her shoulder. A soft hit by Hale's standards, but enough to knock any regular recruit off balance. Ava didn't even budge. Hale blinked. She slowly lifted her eyes to meet his. There was no anger, no fear, only calculation. 5 seconds later. Everything changed. Ava moved so fast most recruits only saw a blur. She pivoted, redirected Hale's weight, trapped his wrist, swept his leg, and twisted his arm behind his back in a single fluid motion. The Iron Wolf was face down on the mat, screaming, "Stop! Stop! My shoulder, Coleman!" The room erupted in shock. The general crying for help. Ava released him instantly and stepped back. Hale rolled on his side, clutching his arm, stunned and humiliated. He stared up at Ava, breath shaking. What was that?" he demanded. "A basic redirect, sir," Ava replied politely. "You overcommit, your strike," Logan whispered. "Overcommit." She folded a general like a lawn chair. Hale sat up slowly. "Who trained you?" Ava hesitated. "My father, sir." "And who is your father?" Ava inhaled. "Commander Daniel Coleman." The room fell dead silent. Commander Daniel Coleman. The legend. The ghost. The man who single-handedly rescued an entire SEAL unit from an ambush in Sudan. Hale had served under him once. Ava wasn't just some recruit. She was the daughter of a myth. Hale swallowed hard. "Why are you here? Someone like you. You could have walked into any elite program." Ava looked down. "My father died 8 months ago. I'm here to continue what he started." The entire room shifted. The laughter was gone. The disrespect disappeared. What remained was a heavy silence. "Everyone out," Hale ordered. Recruits scrambled to the exit, whispering the entire time. Only Ava remained. Hale rubbed his shoulder. "You could have dislocated my arm." "I held back, sir." He stared, held back. "I was holding back." "Yes, sir." For the first time in decades, General Marcus Hale didn't feel like the strongest man in the room. He felt humbled. "What do you want from this base?" he asked. "Respect, sir," I answered. "Not for me, but for every girl they underestimate. I want to earn my place here." Hale slowly stood, correcting his posture. He looked at the young woman who had dismantled him like a rookie. A moment of honesty slipped into his hardened voice. "You already have it, Coleman." But the challenges had only begun. The next morning, the recruits lined up in the outdoor training field. The sun beat down mercilessly. Hale appeared with his arm and a sling, but his presence was as commanding as ever. Today, he announced, we begin Hell Course. Groans followed. Hell Course was infamous. Obstacle runs, weapon accuracy drills, survival scenarios, and psychological pressure designed to break even the toughest. Ava didn't flinch. As the course began, Logan watched her with awe and unease. She moved with unnatural precision, balancing on narrow beams, vaulting high walls, crawling through mud without hesitation. And yet, she didn't look competitive. She looked focused, as if fighting an internal battle. Halfway through the course, Logan collapsed from exhaustion. Ava stopped. She wasn't required to help him. She could have finished easily, but she knelt beside him. Get up, she said. You're not dying today. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. Look at me. She lifted him with surprising strength and supported him until medics arrived. Hale watched from afar. He wasn't angry. He wasn't amused. He was proud. That evening, Hale called her into his office. You had the best time on the obstacle course, he said. Why stop to help Pierce? Because speed doesn't matter if you lose your humanity, sir. Hale looked at her for a long moment. Your father said something like that once. Ava smiled softly. He told me, have a highlight. Coleman, you're different. You're not just skilled. You're grounded. But this base will test you harder than anything you've faced. I know, sir. And people will try to break you. They already have, sir. Hennett. And yet you're still standing. Then unexpectedly, he extended his uninjured hand. Welcome to my unit, Coleman. Ava hesitated only a second before shaking it. She didn't join Fort Branson that day. Fort Branson joined her. 3 weeks later. At 2:13 a.m., alarms blared across the base. An intruder alert. The base went into lockdown. Recruits rushed out, confused and half asleep. Hale barked orders through the chaos. Positions. Secure the perimeter. Nobody moves without my command. Ava stood ready, but something felt wrong. The intruder wasn't trying to escape. They were moving toward the armory. Ava sprinted in that direction before anyone else. Inside the armory, a masked man worked quickly, grabbing Hale weapon prototypes. Ava entered silently. She picked up a flashlight from her belt and tossed it across the room. The intruder turned at the noise. That a moment was all she needed. Ava launched herself forward, her hand striking pressure points with deadly accuracy. The intruder staggered, swinging a large wrench at her. Ava ducked, rolled, grabbed his wrist, and twisted until the tool fell. Then she swept his leg, pinned him to the ground, and yanked off his mask. Logan gasped from the doorway. Is that Sergeant Blake? Yes, that ain't decorated. Sergeant, caught stealing experimental weapons. Blake glared at Ava. You think you're a hero. You don't know what you're getting into. Hale arrived seconds later, eyes widening. Ava, how did you instinct, sir? Blake snarled. She's not one of us. She'll ruin everything. You promoted a child. Hale's voice turned cold. No, Black. I recognized a soldier. Ava stood silently. Blake spit near her boots. Your father would be ashamed. Ava's face hardened. My father died protecting soldiers like you. Shame doesn't belong to me. Hale looked at her with real admiration. You saved this base tonight. Ava lowered her head in respect. Just doing my duty, sir. But she didn't feel like a hero. She felt something else. Pain from remembering her father. By morning, everyone knew what happened. Ava wasn't just the weak girl. She had done what even senior soldiers failed to do. Stop betrayal within the ranks. Recruits treated her differently now. Some with respect, some with fear, some with genuine admiration. Logan approached her at lunch. Hey, I was wrong about you. Ava smiled. You weren't wrong. Just early. Are you always this calm? He asked. No, she admitted. I'm just good at hiding chaos. Before Logan could respond, General Hale entered the mess hall. Attention, he commanded. Silenced, he walked to the center, slinging still around his arm. I want to address something, he began. 3 weeks ago, I underestimated a recruit. I judged her by her size, her quietness, and her appearance. That mistake cost me a dislocated shoulder, and taught me humility. Recruits laughed softly. Ava looked down, embarrassed. Hale continued. Last night, that same recruit saved this base. She acted with courage, discipline, and honor. Traits that define a true soldier. He turned toward Ava. Recruit Ava Coleman. Step forward. She did. By the authority of Fort Branson's command structure, I am officially promoting you to lead combat specialist of this unit. Gasps filled the room. Aw's eyes widened. Sir, I'm not sure. You earned it, Hale said firmly. The weak girl, she never existed. Just a warrior waiting to be recognized. Logan clapped first. The entire hall followed. Ava wasn't used to applause. She simply bowed her head. Hale spoke again. Coleman, your father would be proud. A tear slid down her cheek before she could stop it. Thank you, sir. And that was the moment when the base finally understood a lesson that should have been obvious from the beginning. Never underestimate someone because they look weak. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's calm, silent, and unstoppable. Ava Coleman came to Fort Branson to prove something. She ended up changing the entire culture of the base. And before we end, if you love this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Grow for justice. For more powerful, inspiring, and action-packed stories like this one, tell me in the comments.